Hey guys, welcome back to our weekly video. Today we're going to be discussing dual agency. What is it? Should you do it? Should you use it? And how does it affect you? I'm Carlos Colon with Georgia Permanent Homes, and this is your weekly video. Hey guys, welcome back. What is dual agency? Let's jump right in. So, in a transaction, in a real estate transaction, whether you're purchasing land or purchasing a house, it doesn't matter, even a commercial building, you have agencies on both sides, representing the seller and representing the buyer, okay? Dual agency, you have one agent claiming to represent both sides. Okay, in this transaction. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. In fact, in some states in the United States, it's illegal. Particularly in the state of Georgia, which is a state where we're filming this right now, it is not illegal to have dual agency in the state of Georgia. However, several brokerages within the state of Georgia and across the U.S. still do not allow it within their brokerages. And we can talk about that in a little bit, but really, in most of the U.S., you have an agent that represents a seller. They're the person that lists a home for sale. They represent the seller during the negotiation all the way up until the closing process. And you have an agent that represents the buyer. Their job is to find the home for the buyer, also help them put together and draft the contract and the offer for the home, as well as walking them through protections just in case things don't go well during the contract process, all the way up until closing. Then you have a real estate attorney at the end who actually represents, typically they represent the lender, because most people use a lender in purchasing a home. But in a cash transaction, sometimes they don't represent a lender, they'll represent one or the other party or be a neutral party. Either way, it can be done in any of these formats, and that's okay, and that is normal. Like I mentioned before, in the state of Georgia, it is illegal to have, as I mentioned before, in the state of Georgia, it is legal to have dual agency. So you can legally, in the state of Georgia, have one agent representing both sides. Our current brokerage, for example, Keller Williams, does not allow that. And the reason why they don't allow it is the same reason why, for example, you could be in a court case and have two parties that potentially don't see eye to eye, obviously on both ends of the aisle. Imagine if they were represented by the same attorney. That's not really going to work out very well, is it? And so you have to put yourself in that situation. And just know the purpose in having separate agents isn't necessarily about just walking through the transaction process. It's actually to protect you in a worst case scenario. You always want to have the person representing you just in case things don't go the way they should. And so it is important to understand the way this works. It is also important to understand as a buyer that typically the seller's agent, which is a listing agent, has already had an agreement that at a certain purchase price that they are going to share a certain amount of commission with the cooperating broker or agent in this case. And so a buyer doesn't even have to pay for the representation. They do in turn by getting the loan at the end of the day. However, it's separate representations and you don't have to pay out of your pocket directly for doing so. So understand how this works so that you understand. Fast forwarding to the worst case scenario is going to be the purpose in having your personal representation. There are some practices even in business partnerships. To give you a great example, if you were to develop a partnership within a business and you both use the exact same attorney to draft these documents because you were on the same page and seeing eye to eye, when something doesn't go right in 10 to 20 years, and that judge looks at this and says, who was your representative and who was yours? And they say, well, we had the same one. They're probably going to throw the case out. And the reason being is because you should always have separate representation. And if you chose not to have that, now you're throwing a fit, we might have some issues as far as what you can actually complain about because you chose to be in that position. So make sure that you're protected. Make sure that you do your research. Make sure that you interview agents to find out who's going to work best for you. And if you have any questions about this, or you're interested in buying or selling a home in the state of Georgia, give us a call, 770-314-1285, or check out our website at www.georgiaperimeterhomes.com. Thanks. Bye.